Alright, we're going to take a look at an old MCI, or Meal Combat Individual. The MCIs replaced the older C-Rations back in the late 1950s, and were used up until the MREs replaced them in 1981. And even though they did replace the C-Rations, and they have their own name, they were always pretty much referred to as C-Rations. That's what I always called them, and most people tend to think of them as C-Rations. So I decided to show it to you this way because from the top, this box actually looks like it's in really nice shape. But when we check out the rest of it, you can see it's not quite so nice. And Steve also sent along this B unit of crackers. This is actually much older than this one. I was going to do this as part of this video, but I think this actually warrants its own video, so this is going to be in a separate video. I'll put a link down below. So we can see here, we definitely have a lot of staining on here. Some of this may have come from other boxes inside of the case, but I have a feeling at least some of it came from this meal itself. So we have a large wet stain over here. I mean, the stain itself isn't wet, it's dried up. And a darker one on this side, and an even darker one up here, and a separate one here. So there's like 4 separate stains on here. And actually it's kind of interesting. It almost gives itself a camouflage pattern, like an organic old food camouflage pattern. But I did take a quick peek in here to see what's in here. And I believe this video is actually going to be, to some extent, a cautionary tale for people looking to buy old or vintage rations. And we'll see why in a second when we open it up. So this MCI is turkey loaf, and it has a B1 bread unit. Okay, the box itself is actually, other than the stains, it's in pretty good shape. It must have been stored in a case for many years. Take a look inside. And on top we have the accessory pack. And we have our MCI or C-Ration spoon and the cans. Doesn't look too bad from here. Now for the cautionary tale part of the video. C-Rations were around from 1958 till 1981, and up until 1975 they had cigarettes in them. And obviously in the collector's market today, the cigarettes are probably the most valuable thing that you can find in these things. It's not all that hard to find a C-Ration or an MCI, but the cigarettes are pretty rare. And this one I know to be pre-1975 when they stopped putting the cigarettes in. But this accessory pack contains matches, chewing gum, toilet paper, instant coffee, cream substitute, sugar, and salt, and no cigarettes. So what I believe happened, this is an over 50-year-old meal here, and who knows how it's been stored and how many different hands it's passed through in its time on the earth. I believe what happened is that somebody acquired this, they took out the original accessory pack and put in a later accessory pack from a 1970s vintage MCI and resold it, probably on eBay, as a Vietnam-era MCI. And for the most part, that's what it is. But, as I said, there's no need to tell me that the accessory pack isn't original to the MCI because I'm aware of that. But it's still an MCI accessory pack, so it's still sort of interesting. We do have the white MCI or C-Ration spoon. And now let's check out the cans. This is the more interesting stuff in here. We have fruit cocktail here. And this can is actually in great shape. It has some numbers on the top here, but the kind of random lot numbers. But it's also still liquid in there. It's going to be really interesting to check this out. It almost seems like it has this little bit of bulging. I don't know if you can see that the top is slightly rounded. Very, very little bit. Hopefully it's not going to spray. So that's the fruit cocktail. And here is the B1 unit. This is also in great shape. It's really nice. It's almost a shame to open these things. And the B1 unit, it's a bread unit. Basically it's like a bread, spread, dessert type things in here. And here we can finally date this. This actually has 1264 on it, meaning that this can is from December of 1964. So other than the accessory pack, we're talking about a 53-year-old MCI. And you can see in here we have the staining that we saw on the outside. It looks even worse on the inside. We have the cardboard divider. And then we have our main dish, which is turkey loaf. Oh wow, I didn't see this. This actually has a hole in it. Probably just eaten right through from from the contents inside. That's a shame. The can itself isn't too bad either. It's got some pitting here. It looks like some more holes. I haven't seen that before. That it's just these very little, specific little hole that then I guess leaked out through here. But it's moving around in there. It feels like it has a little bit of moisture left to it. It's not completely dried up, but it doesn't feel like a turkey loaf. I'm not expecting this to be edible. So here's the label on this, or the printing on this. Ingredients: turkey meat, turkey skin, cracker meal, turkey fat, salt, and monosodium glutamate. Packed by Blue Star Foods Incorporated, Council Bluffs, Iowa. No bulging on this, but that's because any air would have escaped through these holes. There's actually a lot of them. Little tiny little pinholes. You talk about pinholes in retort pouches and MREs, but I haven't really seen it in a tin can before. It's funny because other than that, it's actually in pretty good shape. Another couple of holes here, and they're all over the place. It's very interesting. So why don't we just go ahead and put this on a tray and start checking everything out. Alright, and here it is. This one did not include a P38, so I have this civilian one here. It's more of a, I think it's a little bit larger, probably more like a P51. But we'll use that to open the cans. And we'll check out and see what's in this, what I believe is a later era accessory pack. We have the old school toilet paper and coffee instant type 1, non-dairy cream substitute, sugar, iodized salt. Yeah, that definitely doesn't look like a 60s font on there. The classic matches. And this is nice, some spearmint chiclets. And I think we'll start with the B1 unit. I was tempted to save this to last because I think if anything's edible in here, it'll be in here. But since there could be some less than pleasant smells coming off of these things, I think we'll save those. And we'll start with the B1 unit. As I said, this is the one that dates this to 1964. It is December of 64, so it's close to 65, but close enough. And let's see if we can get a little hiss out of this one. Everything's nice and loose inside of there. Yep, I don't know if you could hear that, but there's a decent hiss. Smells a little bit kind of crackery, kind of stale, kind of a little bit of a coconut smell in there, which could be a hint of what's one of the snacks is going to be. See, very nice and clean on the inside of the lid. It's a nice sign. We have this little separator here, and we have a can, which I believe is going to be peanut butter. Yes, it is. Fortified peanut butter from the Kern Foods Incorporated, Los Angeles. And you notice that these don't have the olive drab paint that the outer cans have, because since it's inside it doesn't necessarily need to be camouflaged. Here's our crackers. And I don't smell anything terribly rancid, which is a good sign. It's kind of overpowered by the candy. I can smell a little bit of chocolate, which is also not a bad thing to smell. But here are the crackers, which are not in bad shape. I don't think there's anything wrong with that at all. More than 50 years old. And let's see if we can get out this dessert item in here. going to say, I'm going to put a link down. Old Smokey did a review of a 64 MCI, and just because of the date of it, I'm going to assume it may have come from the same case. You know, the way the ration community works. People are sharing things here and there, and things end up in different people's hands. So I'm going to put a link to that below so you can see another example of one from this era and see how it withstood. And also, his has the correct accessory pack, so you'll get to see the cigarettes that should have come out of this one. This is a coconut chocolate bar, or disc, from the George Ziegler Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. There's the ingredients, if you can see those. I'm not going to read all that. It's in this little waxy paper. It's got some holes in it, but obviously it was in a sealed can, so it's not a big issue. This is really cool. And I can see it still has some moisture because when the wax paper moves, you can see the it sort of has some wet spots on it. Very clean can, though. This is great. So, I mean, with the shape that this stuff is in, some of it I'm tempted to just save, but obviously we're doing a review, we're doing a video, so who wants to see me take out a can and not open it? So let's check out this peanut butter. And of course the peanut butter can we do have to open from the top, just because there's no way to open it from the bottom. But let's go ahead and check that out. Get some oil in here. It's actually nice to see. It's not all dried up. And it smells like peanut butter. Nothing off about it. Alright, well, other than being a little messy from the oils, this doesn't look bad at all. Wow. Amazing. More than half a century old. And now we have to check out this coconut chocolate disc here. Actually, it's kind of ripped right here, so we'll open it right here. The wax paper is very fragile. It's got crumbs in it, apparently from the crackers. It doesn't look and smell bad at all. It smells like chocolate with coconut in it, which is what it should smell like. I think we're going to be able to actually taste some of this stuff. We'll try that. We'll put some peanut butter on one of the crackers. And there might actually be some food to review in this video. I thought I was just going to be opening up some cans and looking at some old museum relics. But now I guess we have to do the scary stuff. Fruit cocktail and the turkey loaf. Get you a little bit closer for this. And I was going to say we'll save the worst for last, but I honestly don't know which is going to be worst of these. This one is pretty dry. It's no way in the world it's going to be edible, but it'd be worth taking a look at. Fruit cocktail, I can't imagine that being edible. It'd be interesting to see if it's black inside of here. But this could be an interesting can to open, and it does still have liquid in there, which is kind of a good sign. Let's see what we get out of this one. I'm going to point it away from me, just in case. Nothing. Ooh. Oh, no, it's... Oh, that's not good. Oh, Jesus, God, that wasn't good. Yeah, let me clean up a little bit, and then we'll finish opening that. Alright, I'm very glad I had that pointed away from me. That just squirted all over the table. Got all over everything. Unfortunately, even somebody even got in my peanut butter, which I was thinking the peanut butter was fine, but now I'm a little bit concerned about that, too. But let's go ahead and finish opening this up. I'm actually wishing this wasn't liquid. It would be easier to handle if it was gelled a little bit. Surprisingly, it doesn't smell that bad. It actually smells a little bit like fruit cocktail with some metallic overtones. That's probably just because I'm cutting the can. So let that be a lesson. If you're dumb enough to open a 50-plus-year-old can, at least point it away from you. Alright, this is not appetizing, but I have to say it's pretty amazingly preserved for being over half a century old. I think that looks like a pineapple. I can actually... there's a cherry over there, too. To me, it's pretty amazing that you can actually identify what some of this stuff is. Let's see if I can get it out here. Wow, look at this stuff. This really looks like fruit cocktail. It smells like it, too. It's not even an unpleasant smell. And we have peaches, the cherries. I guess these would be... We have grapes in here. There's probably pears among the peaches, but I can't really tell the difference. Wow, that's impressive. Obviously the juice, actually, on camera it doesn't look that bad. It looks darker in reality. But although it doesn't smell that bad, I'm sure having this in the air isn't a great thing. So, let's see what the turkey loaf has to offer us. I'm not anticipating any hiss out of this one, since it has holes in it. And of course there isn't any. Can actually feels kind of soft around where the holes are. Wow, the can's actually falling apart. It looked like it was in decent shape, but it's kind of just disintegrating in some of these areas. I think it was other areas that were about to get holes eaten through them. Wow. This is interesting. No, that's enough, I guess. There we go, there's our turkey loaf. Or what used to be turkey loaf. Now it looks like a chunk of rust. Ooh, wow. There's this one area that actually looks a little bit damp on it. Other than that, it looks dry. Well, I guess you can kind of tell it used to be meat. Oops. Well, that can has had it. Alright, not surprisingly, that doesn't look like much. But let's see. Wow, it's pretty solid. It has the slightest bit of moisture left to it, which I am actually kind of impressed by, considering those pinholes in the can. But it certainly doesn't really resemble food anymore. Let's see if we can get a look in here, the inside. Kind of looks like dog food, which I suppose probably what soldiers were saying in 1964 when they opened this up, but much worse now. And the smell is, it doesn't make you gag, but it certainly gets to you, and I don't think we're going to be able to keep this out very long. It basically does smell kind of like metallic dog food, I guess. Alright, and I probably shouldn't have used my spoon to mess with that, because I'm going to use that again for the peanut butter, so I just went ahead and really clean and sanitize the spoon really good. And I guess the last thing we have to do is to check out the coffee and see how that survived. Coffee seems to be moving around in there freely. It smells okay. It's alright, don't see any dry rot or anything in there. I'm going to put the sugar and creamer in too. Alright, that actually smells nice. I've said many times I'm not a coffee drinker, but to get something that smells this familiar and normal after checking out those things, it's very, very pleasant. Alright, now I guess it's time for the taste test, and really the only thing I'm willing to taste in this is the coffee. Let's see, why don't we try that? It's like it was in a time machine. It's not anything great, but it tastes like coffee. Try a little piece of this cracker. It's definitely a little on the stale side. Nothing too bad. I think you could eat these. The taste, it's a little bit strange because of the coconut chocolate smell that kind of pervades it. But that's not too bad. And this peanut butter looks like it could stand to be mixed up. But let's try a little bit of this too. Peanut butter is kind of like honey, it'll last for a long time. It's not too bad. I'm not going to say it's great, but for being well over 50 years old, it's really not bad at all. And I guess that just leaves us with our coconut chocolate disc. Let's see if I can break this. Wow, that's tough. That did not want to break. Very solid. I can't say I've ever tried one of these fresh. I'm not exactly sure what it's supposed to be, but there's no fat bloom on the chocolate. Chocolate itself looks good. The coconut stuff inside is white. Let me give this a little try. That's an odd sensation. All I really got was the chocolate. The coconut is rock hard. Wow. Chewy. It does taste like a coconut. A little plasticky. A little bit of metal in there. Metal kind of a flavor. But that's an interesting. I've never had one of these before. I would love it if I could just eat this whole thing, but I don't think I'm going to take a chance. At least we gave it a try. As far as edibility, I think the peanut butter would be fine. Obviously the coffee is instant coffee. It hasn't gone bad or anything, so that's fine. You can drink all that. I think this cookie will be fine. There's no nuts in it or anything like that to go rancid. It's just the chocolate itself seems to be perfect. And the crackers, other than being a little bit stale and having the smell from the cookie, the chocolate coconut, they seem to be okay too. They seem to be edible. And that coconut taste is a little bit off-putting. I think it tastes like coconut. I'm just not used to tasting coconut in a ration. Let's take one last look at this yummy stuff here. Like I said, I'm almost tempted to try it out, but I'm not gonna. It's not worth going to the hospital for. I mean, actually, this right here, that looks like a piece of pineapple. And they all kind of look the same until you see the. It's funny, even like over 50 years ago, they cut them the same kind of way that they would now. And one last look at our wonderful turkey loaf. I'd rather not touch this thing, but there it is. You can see some things up here that kind of look like bits of meat in there. There's a really dark thing in here. But yeah, needless to say, I'm not gonna tempt fate with that one. So that was a look at an MCI, Meal Combat Individual, or C-Ration, from 1964. And be sure to stay tuned to see this B unit from 1952. Yeah, I almost went inside putting everything away before remembering that I do have one other thing that might be edible in here. The spearmint chiclets. A neat little cardboard box. Let's see how this is. Wow, it's not even rock hard. And it tastes perfect. That's great. A great way to cancel out some of these other tastes here. But because of the smells, I do have to go ahead and start cleaning this stuff up. So thank you once again for watching. Oh, that's not good. Oh, God. Jesus, God.